Although he does try to murder the cats around the apartment, so
we're live.
I don't know. Hi, everybody. Shoki likes to try and kill cats, but I don't let him.
And we're live twice, so we're live in Discord. Zach, if you do me a favor, go in there to the general channel and just tell everybody we're live, but tag everyone at the end of the statement.
Oh, of course, because
so the first thing they read isn't at everyone.
Well, if they read at everyone, they should know that it's an announcement.
Okay.
All right, the general live one more.
All right, I'm gonna start the 10 seconds of silence, and let's just go ahead and we'll play the opening audio in here too. Make it a normal episode.
Kitty kit.
And we are operating off no notes, so. All right.
We'll just wing it. Who cares?
Spilly. And turn that sign on. Even though apparently people don't read the motherfucking lit up sign that says, quiet please, when they open the door.
What?
Bo came in and let me know you were here. And he's like, hey, guy. I'm like, it's fucking lit up. It's okay, Bo. You're special. All right. 10 seconds of complete silence. We're going to start it in 3, 2.
Coming to you direct from Silencer Shop Studios, home of the Glass Case of Emotion.
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markel.
All right, freaks and freakettes, it's time for another one. We're going to do this, I promise. Welcome back to Student of the Gun Radio, and thank you for joining us today. We're going to do things just a little bit differently today. We have a special guest in the Salt Lake City Satellite Studio. Say that 5 times fast. Salt Lake City Satellite Studio.
Hey, you messed up the first one.
Salt Lake City Satellite Studio. Jared, now that you're done sipping your coffee. All right. Zach and I are at the Saratoga Mountaintop Studio, and Jared is in Salt Lake City. And Jared, you have a guest. Do you not?
I do have a guest. He's right here.
You're going to introduce your guest, Shorty?
My nickname is not Shorty. No, for those of you watching the video, I do look about half-sized right now because I have a giant standing next to me. The giant standing next to me is Brian Keeney, and he's with Occam Defense. And we're going to talk about some cool stuff today.
Hello, gentlemen. Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
So we know 2 Keeneys, and they both spell their last names differently. Yep.
Do you know an I? Was it Kiene? Something like that.
Kueh.
Yeah, it's like the Nordic Keeney or something like that. I don't know, but he's a giant too.
We do tend to grow large from up there.
Yeah, the Keeneys are large individuals. Yeah. Although, Jared, did you see the Keeney? Just as a complete total left turn, the wedding photos.
Yep, I saw them.
So he's a giant, but he married a midget.
That happened recently.
He married a little person.
Yeah.
And I hope she's listening.
People are easier to throw.
It's very true.
Yes, that's right.
I can get under your hips a lot easier.
Judo talk. Tall people are easier to throw. Yep. I thought midgets were easier to throw.
They're easier to pick up.
Pick up the little people. We don't pick up the little people. That's right. We don't know. That's a total insider joke that no one will get. But that's okay. Moving on. Welcome to Student of the Gun Radio. And Brian Keeney, he actually owns a company called Occam Defense. Is that not correct?
Yes, that would be one for sure. One pronunciation of it, Occam Defense.
Occam.
Yeah.
Occam. It's a word that you never see in print, but it's OCCAM.
Yeah, I did not realize we were making a nerd joke when we formed the company. Occam's razor is this idea that all things being equal, the simplest answer is the right one. And that is the creed that we try to engineer by over at Occam Defense, is to make simple, reliable, rugged, life-saving equipment.
There you go. Now, the reason that I know of you is because our mutual friend James Yeager posted a video like a year and a half or more ago about your AK sight tower. Can you tell people real quick what that's all about? Especially just go ahead and pretend like no one knows anything about rifles.
Yeah, for sure. Well, can I pretend that they know something about the AR-15?
All right. Yeah, there's AR-15s and there's AK-47s.
Yeah. So the AR-15 for the last 20 years or so has had the flat top forged upper, meaning the big pick rail that runs along the top of the rail there, which makes it really easy to put an optic like a red dot on the top of that gun there. Before that, they were doing weird stuff like making little clamps that went to the top of the carry handle. And the way that I like to describe the RST is that the AK has been stuck in the carry handle days for a very long time, where there has not been a native place to put an optic on the AK. We did the first essentially forged upper, flat top forged upper. We take the rear sight block, which is where for people on video, where the little leaf is with the rear notch. And we got rid of that thing, kept the rear notch, but it's one chunk of steel now with a very rugged pick rail, 1913 rail that you can clamp a red dot to. And the red dot, for those that haven't run one, there's a little red dot, like as if there's a laser projected where the bullet is going, except only you see it. You put the red dot where you want the bullet to go, pull the trigger, gun goes bang, and you get what you want. So we have brought a simple, accurate solution to the AK using this modified part.
And that, when I saw that, I watched the video that James did, and I contacted you almost immediately, and I said, this is genius, and everyone needs to do that. And I put you in touch with some mutual friends, and apparently that's still foot drag. There's still foot dragging.
There's starting to be the conversation is now open as of Red October for whatever reason. Your beating of the drum no doubt helped with that and finally wore them down a little bit.
Okay. Well, if we want to beat them up at the same time, we can do so in 2 months.
There you go. Yeah,
we'll go to Las Vegas and we'll attack them from two fronts. Because I'm scheduled to be in the booth. I have an official booth appearance, so they have to listen to me for at least an hour.
Outstanding.
Yeah, they're going to be trapped. They won't have a choice. They're going to have to listen to me for at least an hour. So, now you have something else that's relatively new, and it is a rail.
That's correct. We took everything that we learned from the RST, and I love the RST, but I integrated it onto my guns, and it works fantastic. And then I started putting rail systems onto my gun, and they were getting really hot, and they were heavy, and they were taking away a bunch of the benefit of the RST. That one of the big parts of the RST is to pull weight off the front end of the gun. The Ultimac is a great product, and it certainly was amazing 15 years ago or whenever it came out. But there's been time, and there's room for innovation there. And so my parts come in, but the handguards were still, in my mind, lagging behind, and getting hot, being heavy, not being attached particularly well. And so we've kind of mushed a handguard and an RST and made a baby with them. And it's called the MERC, M-E-R-C. You can see it at our website, occamdefense.com. It is a free float handguard for the AK. It attaches at a single point right where the rear sight block would normally attach, right, clamps to the barrel. And it stays much cooler than you might expect. We managed to drop the temperature by about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I went through a week of small unit tactics at Jaeger's shop recently and did not wear gloves the entire time. And the volume of fire in that class is extremely high. Now, it probably was dumb of me to do that because you're working around cars that are all shot up and everything. So I could have gotten cut, but I wanted to prove that you're not going to get cut by your gun and you're not going to get burned by the Merc.
Well, where you get cut by is you get cut by the charging handle / safety mechanism. Yeah, the safety lever is you grab the charging handle and you rack it back vigorously. You catch the safety lever on your hand and it slices your hand wide open. That is what it does.
That's actually one of the tips that I pass on to people, that it sounds like you're all over, that if you take some 80 grit sandpaper and very carefully go over the trigger guard and the safety and the charging handle, you will improve the ergonomics of the AK dramatically. You know,
because they're pre-sharpened from the factory.
They come pre-sharpened for you. Yep.
That's right. It's like Taurus pistols. They come pre-sharpened from the factory.
Yeah.
I got that. I stole that one from my Uncle Walt. Uncle Walt, man. I think you were either at NRA or SHOT, and we were in the Taurus booth, and he was telling them how much he liked he was telling the Brazilians, who like speak 4 words of English anyway, and they just like stand there and they nod at you. And he's like, I really appreciate how your guns come pre-sharpened from the factory. and they're like, yeah, thank you. And thank you. And he looked at me and he goes, there is no Portuguese word for buffer wheel. Like, what? Anybody who's ever cut their hands on a Taurus knows. Man, in the 90s, they were making them so fast. They're like, we don't have time to like polish the sharp edges off these things. That's what blood does. All the salt from the blood will eventually it'll wear it down.
Chemical etching process.
That's right. Just it will bleed on them enough. Eventually, they'll smooth out. So,
oh man.
Now. Question, everyone's going to have, they're like, okay, does it matter whether or not I have a forged receiver, a machined receiver, or a stamped receiver AK?
Sadly, it does. There is no mill spec really for the AK that goes across all the countries.
Mm-hmm.
And the barrel diameter actually changes whether you go to a milled receiver or a stamped receiver. And the way that you know you have a stamped receiver is that you'll see little bumps on the outside that are the rivets. Mm-hmm. And our products work on the AKs with rivets, mm-hmm. and from countries that do not start with Yugo and who else? I think
countries that don't start with Yugo
and unfortunately Century makes all of their guns to a milled spec. Even the stamped guns have mm-hmm. a milled barrel in them, so they don't fit. We're going to come out with an RST. We made it for a little while, didn't have much demand, so we ceased production of it. We're going to start production of it again very near, next few weeks here. The Merc will certainly have a Century compatible version coming out, but that'll be a few months after the release of the original one.
Have you gotten your hands on their Visca yet? Did they have one in Camden when you were there?
They did not. They are sending me one, which I'm eagerly anticipating. It looks like the changes they've made, if they did what they said they did, that should be really great.
Cool. All right, cool. Well, I guess the main thing. So somebody's out there and they're listening right now and they're thinking, well, I have a this, I have a this or I have a that, and I'm not sure. They can go to Occam Defense or Occam Defense, OCCAM, and then the word defense spelled with an S, not a C like Europeans do, .us. It's occamdefense.us. And there's a contact us there. And they can contact you.
And I personally field those questions about, will this fit my gun?
Oh, we need to apologize in advance.
Why?
Because if you field them personally.
Oh yeah, you're about to get bumped.
No, that's okay. But I care very deeply about people having a good experience with our products. I have never had one returned. I have had to make one modification for a customer ever.
That's great.
And so if I help you guys out on the front end, I won't be getting returns on the back end, and that makes everybody happy.
So the rear sight tower, or the, as you call, the RST, that needs to be installed by a competent gunsmith.
Or if you're a tool and die maker, a good mechanic, a machinist, somebody like that, you can totally do it on your own. But for most of the population, yep, you're going to want to get it installed by one of our 2 certified installers, John Houlton at M13 Industries, or Vince Buckles at MKR, Mesa Kinetic Research in Louisiana. He's of Sons of Guns fame. Both of those guys are personally recommended by Jim Fuller. You can find their names and their companies at our partners tab on occamdefense.com. And the install, if they don't have any surprises, the install is a flat $80. And
Okay.
lead time is a couple weeks. It's very fast. Sometimes it's faster than a couple, but it's gotten to be quite short. They've gotten very good at swapping them in.
Now, I hope I'm not being redundant, but how about the Merc rail? Is that the same situation?
Same situation. No, that's a good question. They still need to depopulate. They got to tear some things off of your gun, the parts that aren't needed anymore. The front sight and the rear sight base have to come off, and you can Dremel those off if you never want to see them again, and you don't need an installer as long as you're good with the Dremel. But same thing, $80. And if for some reason, which I can't anticipate, you want to go back from the Merc in the future, you'll be able to use them again.
I was just going to say every man is good with a Dremel.
There should be a 5-day waiting period for a Dremel tool. I've actually had to do that with to put hand. Which one was it? I can't remember. Oh, I had to put a rail on an AK, and it had the damn forward sling loop, and wasn't stirring the Kool-Aid, and that had to go.
When you had to do something with the Mosin, didn't you?
Oh no, I had to relieve the stock like for an hour and a half. No, I went crazy, and I put a Timney trigger into a Nagant.
That's right. Yeah.
And because why not? And the stock is not designed to accept that in the stock.
No kidding.
So there I was, meticulously removing, trying not to take too much out on the front porch of my Nagant stock. But it works. It works.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it works. Right. The funny thing about that is, and this is a lesson to you, Mr. Small Business Gun Parts guy. Sometimes what you think is not what the customer thinks. That story, the Timney for the Nagant, that's 3, 4, 5 years old now. But I talked to them, and they said that never in 1,000 years, because they were doing okay, what are we going to build next, right? I mean, because you do the accessories for the most popular guns in the world, and then you start slowly whittling away, right?
Sure. And
so they did a Facebook contest, and they asked people, and he said the overwhelming majority was Nagant. And I was like, and sitting at a boardroom table, if you'd have said Nagant at a boardroom meeting for a trigger company, they would have had security escort you out of the building. Get out. Just don't even clean out your desk. We'll put it in a box and mail it to you.
Mm-hmm.
He said, we made those and people bought them. I said, that's crazy talk. He said, yeah. Because, but that is the lesson. The lesson is all of the experts would have said, you're an idiot. There's no way that someone who spent $99 or $159 for a rifle is going to give you $120 for a trigger. It won't happen, but it did. So we don't always, we like to think that we're the smartest people in the room sometimes, but often you just don't know. You just don't know. And I've been wrong before. It's like viral videos, isn't it, Jared?
Yes.
We do. I'll do things, and I'll think, man, this is important information. Everyone needs to have it, and then I'll just do something dumb. And
like the Fox News video.
Yeah,
hey, let's do this. And then 2 million views later.
Yeah. So
Over here, I was looking at. I'm kind of geeking out on the website. It looks really good. I don't know if you built it or if
I did. Thank you.
It looks
I had
really
a little
good.
bit of help, but yeah, WordPress is great for getting a customized look.
Yeah, dude, this is great.
Thank you.
So Occam Defense.us. Go check it out. There's some cool stuff over here.
We have a new product, which, Paul, I don't know if I've gotten into your hot little hands yet, but it's called Occam Lube.
yeah, the answer is no. You
Yeah,
didn't.
I need to fix myself, as you would say, with that one. It is a little syringe that I've been using for several years, and somebody said, "Hey, you should productize that." I said, "Okay," and it is quite the hit right now. They're going out on all Rifle Dynamics guns. X-Tech Magazines is now shipping them out with their 10 packs as kind of a bonus. It's a little bit hard to explain, but it's a little package that will not leak, where you can store grease just about anywhere. And then it kind of does an Inspector Gadget thing where a bunch of parts pop out of it like a multi-tool and connect back together. And all of a sudden you've got this fairly large syringe out of something the size of your pinky. And so we fill it with a high quality US grease. It is not magic. There is no magic with grease as far as I'm concerned. But we sell it in a white, a red, and a black moly grease, which does not cause rust. A lot of moly greases will attract water and cause corrosion. Ours does not. You can then, wherever you are, you can have it in your stock or your pouch or your plate carrier, your med kit, wherever, right? And anywhere in your loadout, and then have grease when your gun goes dry, stow it again and have it not explode in your bag. The little toothpaste tubes of grease tend to get stuck between the two pieces of sharp metal in your bag. It's one of these things like two socks go into the dryer, one sock comes out. It seems like a rule of nature that if you put a soft container of lube in your bag, it will get punctured and squirt everywhere. So unless you're a total jerk, this will not leak.
Can I use it on my dog?
The white grease. I don't know why you would lube your dog, but
I was just
I'm just looking. It says not for animal use, and I'm like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know who's lubing their animals, but I'm glad that you put that warning on there.
Yeah,
that's for California people, isn't it?
It actually says explicitly, if Jared, if you go to the product description, it will say explicitly for Californians, and it has the Prop 65 warning, and then it says known to the state of California to cause cancer, just like French fries, coffee, and hamburgers, or something like that.
Yeah, just like coffee, hamburgers, and French fries.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah,
I was just looking at it said select your lube, and I was looking for a slippery option, but it just says Super Red, Black Magic, and Variety Pack and Premium White. You should add a slippery option.
I should definitely. We also offer a DIY kit where you can throw in whatever you want in it.
See, that's what I need. It's not green. See, we could use it for animals or humans because our lube is bio-based.
Well, I will send you the DIY kit so that you guys are into frog lube, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, we're into it.
Yeah, well,
we can put that in the syringe, huh?
Yeah, you totally can.
With the solid stuff. I would even the liquid?
Yeah, it works for oils as well. I actually use the DIY kits for Loctite. It's really nice to have we probably will start.
Tiny, That's amazing. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, see, that's what we need to do, Jared. The little cuppy things of the frog lube. We could put them in there. We could do that. We can do whatever we want because we're Americans. But all right,
joy, isn't it?
We still need to talk about other things. We still need to. We're going to do. Well, today's Monday, so we're going to do. We're going to do a question, or are we just going to call this the question? Jared, do you think we're just going to call this the question?
Yeah, we could do that.
We'll call this. Congratulations, Brian! You are the SWAT Fuel Warrior of the Week. And so you can run around the house screaming because you heard your voice on Student of the Gun Radio.
Well, we didn't play the music.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. That's all right. That's okay. We're going to beat you anyway.
Yeah,
we still need to do a quiet time though. So, all right. The company is Occam, or Occam, depending on where you were born in America. Occam Defense.us. They make pieces and parts for the Kalashnikov rifles. If you've got a rifle and you want it to be kind of jazzy and snazzy,
And the fact of the matter is, I'm not gonna blow smoke up Brian's butt because he's in our studio there. But the fact is that design is genius. The reality of the world that we live in is nobody who shoots an AK uses the incremental leaf sight to try and shoot out to 500 or 800 meters. It doesn't happen. We all know this. It's like when in World War II, when they put leaf sights on the Browning high powers that went up to 500 meters. I'm like, you're an optimist, aren't you? You are an optimist. I like that in you, but it's impractical. The fact of the matter is that this design should come from the factory on AKs. It should. They need to just like realize that there's a better way of doing it. And people say, well, what if you want to use your own sights? There's a channel down the middle. Just look down the middle of it. Find your front sight. You're not shooting 500 meters with your AK. Don't lie to me. You're not. Stop it. Stop lying. I know there's somebody out there who's like, you don't know me, man. I can shoot 1,000 yards with my AK. Okay, so if you're that guy, rock on. But for everybody else in real world, it is a good product. And if your front rails do what they say they do, because most of them generally are waffle irons. You rip through one magazine and your handguard is a waffle iron. And I've actually had some that got so hot that I could feel it through the glove. You know,
oh yeah.
Through my glove, I just had to reach back and hold the mag because it was so hot. But if you can do that, hey, my hat is off to you guys. So Brian Keeney is the owner, founder, proprietor of Occam Defense. And if you have a Kalashnikov that you'd like to trick out, or maybe you just like to grease it up, give him a call or give him an email or whatever.
Thank you, gentlemen. Honored to be on your show.
Thank you for joining us.
All right, I'll cut it right there.
And then we can you going to give him a tour?
Yeah. Is there anything else we need to say to the live people before we go?
No, we can go ahead and cut that, and then we'll come back and we'll finish filling out the episode later.
Okay, cool. There were some questions actually. Let me look real quick.
That's too bad.
Yeah. So if you guys need to head out, then
Can I put it on my RPK?
Anything for SKS was from Doug Arnold.
I wish.
Fucking Doug Arnold. Fucking SKS.
Yeah, Doug.
Motherfuckers, buy a gun with a magazine.
Ah, that's funny. I think that was actually it. The RST is the shit from Adam Hall.
There were some questions. One question later. Okay, and we're done.
I saw some more somewhere, but I don't know where the hell they were. So, okay. Well, thank you guys for watching live.
You're welcome.